So have you ever tried to start a sketchbook only to find you can never finish it? I know, I've been there too. Or do you want to start a sketchbook for the first time, but you're not sure how to go about it? Today, I'm here to help you with 10 tips so that you can confidently start and finish your sketchbook. Hey guys, I'm Fanny. I've been in love with art since my childhood and I've been a graphic designer for more than 10 years. I want to help you improve your creativity and your art. So let's get started. My first tip is to buy a cheap and thin sketchbook so that you're not afraid to use it and it doesn't intimidate you. And you don't find yourself sitting there, looking at that expensive paper and thinking about if you mess up the drawing you're gonna waste it. I think it happens very commonly that you buy a beautiful, expensive sketchbook and then you're afraid to draw in it. I encourage you to try different tools. You can start with simple pencils. You can try harder and softer pencils, you can try sketch pencils. There's a lot of variety even with that simple tool. You can also try using colored pencils. Those are my big favorites because they're just so beautiful and easy to use and they're not messy. You can draw with them anywhere. You can also try drawing with ink. That's a bit more messy and it needs a little more practice, but that's just what sketchbooks are for.
Of course, there are markers, brush pens, fat tip pens and micron pens, and
you can also experiment with different kinds of paints like watercolors and acrylic paints. You won't need a lot of brushes. I think even if you have just really thin ones, you can do a lot with them. 2-3 sizes are perfect. The great thing with sketchbooks is you can use any or all of those tools. You can do whatever you want. My third tip is to set up a plan and decide on a schedule or set apart a time of day when you always draw in your sketchbook, even if it's just for 10 minutes or 30 minutes. It will greatly improve your chances of not missing a day and actually finishing your sketchbook, not just fill the first 10 pages and then leave off. If you make drawing in your sketchbook a habit, then you have a far greater chance of actually having a finished sketchbook in your hands in a month's time. My fourth tip is to think of some themes beforehand. This is related to having a plan. If you put in the work and do some research and do some thinking of what you actually want to draw in your sketchbook, it will help you very much when you sit down to avoid that feeling of, I don't know what I should draw, I have no inspiration. Those things come to everybody, but if you don't rely on being inspired every single day, which I think won't happen, then at those times when you don't have any inspiration, you can just look at your list and choose one that actually feels doable for the day. You can draw plants, you can draw flowers, I do a lot of that. You can draw animals, you can draw people, you can draw food, you can draw your day, what happened to you on a certain day, and that makes you remember it much more, so that it's also useful. You can draw patterns, you can draw abstract things. A sketchbook is a great place to practice lettering. You can also do sketches for bigger projects that you have in mind. I often do that in my sketchbooks. My fifth tip is to make a personalized cover for your sketchbook. You don't need to spend a lot of time with this. You can spend 10 minutes or half an hour or however much time you want, but you'll feel more connected to your sketchbook. My sixth tip is to start with someone else so that you can cheer each other on, you can hold each other accountable, and that's a great tactic for starting just about anything, from going for a run a day or anything you want to do. I think it's easier if you do it together with someone. You can also show your drawings to each other every day and that will give you a sense of accomplishment. My seventh tip is to give yourself some grace. If you miss a few days or even a week, just continue where you left off and don't beat yourself up over it. Because it's much harder to start again if the next time you're sitting down to draw, you're not only facing drawing in your sketchbook, but also your own judgment and your own negative feelings about yourself for not drawing. My eighth tip is to have a dedicated space that you like. It might sound counterintuitive because you might think that it's easier to draw wherever you want, especially if you're just drawing with pencils or colored pencils, but I find that it's much easier to keep up with the habit of drawing if you have a dedicated space. My ninth tip is to have an escape plan for messed up drawings. I think in general you should definitely keep the drawings that you don't like, that you think they're awkward or that's just not up to your standards, although I don't think you need to have very high standards for your sketchbook. But if you did a drawing that you really don't like and you don't ever want to see it again, you can cover it up in a number of ways. You can paint over it with acrylic paint that covers it up completely. You can do a collage over it, or you can keep parts of it that you like maybe. My 10th tip is to have fun and not take your sketchbook very seriously. It's there for practice, it's there to experiment, it's there to record your progress. You can really go crazy with your sketchbook. And my plus one tip is use multiple sketchbooks at once. I tend to do this. I have at least 5 different sketchbooks because I tend to use different sketchbooks for different things. I have one for lettering, I have one for flowers, I have one for animals, I have one for patterns. You can finish a sketchbook much slower this way because you're working on 5 different ones at once. But I find it helps me to ease the pressure. You shouldn't do it just to finish a sketchbook. You should do it because you're having fun, you're learning things, and when you're done you can be very proud of yourself and it will feel very good to look at all the things you've done. So that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please leave a comment below with your ideas of what to draw in a sketchbook. I'm very curious to know. Press the like button if you like this video and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye guys!